Good evening, wonderful people. Good evening. Good evening. It is Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. We are so glad to be in the land of the living. It could have been another way, but God saw fit that you are here right now. Do me a favor, let somebody know that we are live right now on the Facebook page of Sunshine Camila. We are on live at the YouTube channel of Keeping It Real Conversations with Sunshine. Please like, share, and subscribe. We are live on Twitch and we are live on X, formerly known as Twitter. Please let somebody know we are live. You don't want to miss this conversation. I'm going to go ahead and start. It will shift. I'm sure it is, because that's what God does. I just have to be obedient, ready, and to go, regardless of what's happening. Tonight's supposed to be my buddy.
That's loud. How you doing?
How you
Why you
doing,
so
sir?
loud? You're very loud.
Am I?
A little bit.
That's you.
It's me? No, it's not. Hold on. Okay, let me see. I, okay, talk. Let me see.
Can you hear me?
Okay, that's cool. That's better. Yes.
So tonight I have my brother from another mother here tonight.
Oh, excuse me.
Basketball, streetball legend himself, main event, Wailyy Dixon. I'm gonna get into his bio shortly, but I am glad that you took the time out your busy schedule out in Cali, having a good time just to talk to little old me. So I
Nice.
thank you for that.
Thank
It's
you.
been a while.
Everybody, somebody. The show started already?
Yes.
It's loud. Okay, I'm sorry, everybody. My bad. How y'all doing? What's going on? I didn't know if you was doing the pre-joint. Got me in the waiting room. I don't know what was going on. How you doing?
I am doing good, blessed and highly favored. How about you?
Reciprocate that. Same.
So, I had an idea before I get into my regular questions. Um, some people know you and some people don't. And it was something that I really want to bring out about you in the time that it's been 6 years, sir.
Wow, that's a blessing.
It's been
Wow.
6 years. In the beginning of the pandemic, when I reached out to you, like, this cannot be. And sure enough, it was you. So again, I thank you again for taking that time out to be here out of your busy schedule to grace the stage again. I believe in
Thank you.
6 degrees of separation. You're literally one person away, one advice away, one help away from where you need to be in your destiny, proven over and over again since I started this show in 2020. Um, in that beginning of the 2020, during the pandemic, I reached out one day on Instagram and I was like, I wonder if this is really him. You know, where is the and one people at? And he responded like, no, Shorty, it's really me. Like, no, it's really me. And so we have been close ever since. Most of my people I have not met in person, but he put me on and he didn't have to. But a lot of his people, um, and still do to this day. So I applaud you.
No
So let
doubt.
me
I
do
saw
this
what you was
bio.
doing. I saw what you
Huh?
was doing. So I said I saw what you was doing, and it's things that we got to do. Look out for one another. Even if we're not on the same soil or never know the person in physical form, but and I just saw your grind, your hard work, what you was already doing, and I was able to help assist, and it's all love.
Yes, yes, for sure. Okay. Wailyy Dixon grew up on the black tops of Linden, New Jersey, where basketball wasn't just a game, it was a lifeline. He had a gift that couldn't be taught. He could rise
Come on.
higher than the rim, higher than expectations, higher than anything that tried to hold him down. People saw the dunks, they saw the crowds, they saw main event. the street ball legend. But what they didn't see was the God behind the gift. Because every leap wasn't just an athletic ability, it was a grace. Every moment in the air wasn't just hang time, it was purpose. Every door that was open wasn't just opportunity, it was God saying, I can use you right where you are. God took a kid from the neighborhood courts, used him to inspire thousands, used him to show young people that talent is a platform, not a destination. Used him to prove that when God lifts you, you don't just rise, you soar. And today, Wailyy's story isn't just about basketball. It's about how God can take a gift, a passion, a dream, and turn it into a testimony. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, sir.
I might have to hire you for that intro. That was beautiful. Thank you.
I'm just saying.
Thank you.
It's real life, though.
Absolutely.
It's real
Absolutely.
life. So now that we got your intro out the way of the things God has done through you, for you, and what you're
Mhm.
continuing to do on your journey, we're going to talk about that tonight. You never know what God gonna do. Just show up and be a willing vessel, right?
That's right. Proven testimony. Absolutely.
Um, when what was the moment you first became aware of God's presence in your life?
Um, I always knew that there was someone higher. Like coming from a Christian background, half my family is Sunni Muslim, so I knew that there was someone higher. I would watch my grandmother pray, but far as really like getting connected and knowing for myself versus hearing other people's testimonies or seeing people praying for myself, I probably was maybe about 5 or 6 years old.
Mm-hmm. Um, how did your upbringing shape you to be who you are today?
Everything. It was everything. I think I was blessed to go through a part of my journey. I was blessed to have my mother, my father at the time in my life. They wasn't together at the time, but I had both of them in my life. So I come from that old village where the community, especially the grandmothers, was the ones who was like the real pillars in the community. That's what that's what helped me out, you know?
So that part of you is the reason why you always giving back. Is that true?
Yes, because I was able to see what my grandparents was going through. You know, my mom, mother, my dad's mother. I didn't get a chance to meet my grandfather. One was a pastor, Pastor John Dixon. But just seeing how they was there for the community. Everybody would come there on Sundays. Uh, uh, everybody eat at the table. Wasn't no social media. Wasn't no cell phone. No distractions. It was just all really about the love. So those things come from my grandmother, and then you dig a little further, goes, we're from the South. My dad is from the East, well, the North. My mom was from the South side. So, it was real church. You go to church, ain't no playing no cards on Sundays. And so God was always there. But as we get older and mature, we start like really seeing and remembering the little cliches or the things we would hear from like scriptures. But now is actually a part of our life. We could see it. Like hearing other people's testimonies, I have my own testimony now, and I tell people like it's real, like it's real. Get a connection. Everybody connection is different, and sometimes we ask the creator for things that we ask the creator for things, not knowing that he gave us everything that we need to get what we want. So I'll always give the praise throughout bad times, good times, doing the right thing, doing the wrong thing. The creator is so love us so much that he overlooks all of that stuff. So now if the creator is overlooking that stuff, at some point we have to look within ourselves because he's allowing us to go through certain things. Some go through other things more than others, but he's allowing us to go through that. And then you get older and start getting that real connection and you start seeing what the purpose is.
evening. Again, my apostle Shadonna Anderson is in the building. My spiritual family, sisters and brothers is in the building from New Beginnings
Blessings,
Worship
blessings,
Center is in the building. My
blessings.
family, my baby sister is in the building. Hello, hello, hello. Do me a favor, of course, share the live. Again, you're gonna see a part of main event that you probably never seen before or heard him say. A lot of times I would stop and say, or he will come in and say blessings, even if he doesn't stay the whole show. But again, I acknowledge somebody who took a chance on me when I didn't know him from Adam. And he's been here ever since. Um, can you describe a season where your faith was tested and how God met you in it?
I want to say when there's a couple times, but one of the most kind of almost like tragic ones was when I was in a car accident. The emergency brake went through my leg and broke my tib fib in half. And during that time, I was already I'm a believer. Like okay, and I had to sit back and I needed that time to get reconnected with the creator with God because He said you have to slow down. I'm gonna make it real severe for you and give you an opportunity. So I was listening and started taking heed of and paying attention now because sometimes we got to go through certain things just to pay attention because things happen so fast. Not knowing that we at different seasons, sometimes it's not our season, but we there for someone else's season. So the accident had me really, really, really get a good hindsight because I wouldn't even be here right now. And not only did he slow me down, but he was loving enough to have me even go back to something that I love, which is basketball. So that was an opening time, and just real when you hear things where it's like it's gonna be a time when it's just you and who you praise to. Like it's a lot now, but during those times, and I also understands that when our back is against the wall or when things may not be going our way in our life, sometimes you'll doubt, be like, oh man, I thought God or why this, why that. Nah, when we don't have what we consider ourselves and not what society think, when we feel as though we don't have what we want in life or where we are in life, those are the times when we praise Him the most. Versus when we get everything, because the first thing happened, if something happened, what's the first thing we do? Oh God, oh Jesus, right? So if He's going to be the helm of our troubles, we have to acknowledge Him first, and then we'll start understanding, that we don't have to go through certain things. Praise Him in all times, good or bad.
So if somebody was to put a mirror to you from your younger self to now, what would be the big difference between your younger self and right now?
The younger self is really like I would like to use main event because Wailyy Dixon was the one who was the straw man. Main event was the straw man for Wailyy Dixon. So the young me, I'm looking at and I'm like, wow, he had to go through what he went through, and the creator allowed me for people to share my journey with me. So he had to go through everything, main event, for Wailyy Dixon to be where we at today. But it was him. And he challenged me and he said, I'm gonna give this all to you. I'm gonna show you certain things. I'm gonna allow you to be privy to certain things. Don't take advantage of it. Right. So it was that's what I would say. This guy right here, I would thank him. I would thank the person in that mirror because he showed me a lot of things and some things the average person, humbly speaking, may not even get privy to, but a lot of people take advantage of special situations. And you can't take advantage of a special situation because you may be at that situation for a purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where I would look in that mirror and I would say, thank you, because that was the person who helped me in this journey to look in that mirror. It take a long time before you could go look in that mirror. You just, a lot of people don't want to look in that mirror. But it took a long time. It took me a long time to really look in that mirror. And what I realized is that when you fool that person in the mirror, that means that you head into a dangerous path. Because if you fool
Mm.
that person in the mirror, oh man. So hopefully everyone could go to that mirror, start your day off in that mirror, start your day off saying, I love you. Because once we learn the self-love and where love come from, we're gonna know the importance to loving others.
Absolutely. And listen, every time you just amaze me. You really do. You just cause you okay. Let's go step back apart. So you have the athletes that, and I was a basketball player.
Mhm.
And I used to watch you. And so it's like, is that the same that was flying and hanging all on the rims and all of this crazy alley hoop stuff to you?
So you got to remember, when someone else is in control of writing your destination or writing your script, they're going to portray you in a certain way. So, and one portrayed me like, oh, this guy big mouth, this guy tough, he rugged. They never showed the compassionate side because they had their own agenda, whatever it was, you know. But you don't know that when you're going through these certain things. Things is happening so fast. I always was me. The world, like I say, the world knew main event. The world knew who a company was able to promote, but the also a part of the world also know Wailyy Dixon, who was the young kid before main event. I got my credibility without and one. I was still God still was using me in a way where He said, I'm gonna give you basketball. I'm gonna give you boxing. I'm gonna give you different things to where you have to interact with people just to be able to go around any type of people of all walks of life in any community in any neighborhood. Those are blessings.
Yeah, because people don't realize you rub elbows with everybody in every arena. You had NBA players who wanted to leave the NBA just to play with y'all. Huh?
Respectfully, because it's a part of. I remember God rest him, Mr. David Stern. Saw him on a couple of occasions. And the first occasion I saw him, I said, Mr. Stern, when I'm gonna get a chance to dance on y'all stage because these guys get a chance to come play with us in the summertime. And he was like, keep doing what you're doing. Then I saw him a couple of years after that. I said the same thing to him, and he told me, he said, if I let you into the NBA, we'll be opening a can of worms. So I was mad a little bit. I said, you know what, nah. But by that time, I'm already seeing that the creator is using me in a different way. So I didn't need no coach. I didn't need no general manager. I didn't need none of that because the person who was running and dictating my plays, he never lost a game.
You
So what
better
could I,
stay.
you know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'm trying to stay grounded, okay? You starting stuff, sir. You're starting stuff. Starting stuff.
No, no, it's
I
real.
I love it here. I really do because again, they get to see the whole heart of Wailyy Dixon, not just main event. Yeah, that was a part of you, still is part of you. But there's the part that the husband, the father, um, the person that's making moves, not just for yourself, but for legacy purposes. You have this new podcast center right in the heart of New Jersey. Basically, they want you to be the mayor in New Jersey. I don't understand. Everybody don't get to see or know that part of you. And I love the fact that God created this platform for people to see a different side of a person, to see the vulnerability and to actually see your relationship with God.
Yeah, he was. I mean, so I'm gonna tell you something that a lot of people may not know. If you go back and look at the and one tapes and stuff, hold on one second. Yo, you gotta close that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You gotta close that door, bro. The thing beeping. I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
Okay, I'm sorry. What's the question you asked me?
You was about to say
You know,
something
when you're
about
on the
going
West
back.
Coast out here, you gotta keep your head on the swivel out here. But we
Of
good though.
course. Anywhere
No,
you
I'm in
go,
good hands.
sir.
But it's all love though. It's all love. I just was making sure some things is right. You was asking me about what?
You were about to say, if you go back and look at the N1
Oh,
tapes
yeah. So
about where
back,
you
yeah,
were.
back to that. Back to so I could tell y'all this, and then y'all could go back and look at the track line that I had. So if you go back and you see before we play, we had half court and everybody's gathered around. Those who believed or whatever it was, if you didn't know it, we would do the Lord's Prayer before every single game. So even when guys like Professor Spider, when guys made that team, they never knew what we was talking about in that circle. But that was the Lord's Prayer that we was doing, and I want to say that everybody knew that prayer. Whether they knew it, if they didn't know it, they knew it, and that meant a lot because not only are we praying for us, we also praying for the safety and wellness for the other team. So they never was going to promote that, right? So it let me know that. God allowed me at that time, and to take credit, I got to give it back to my upbringing, to my, was I a perfect kid? Heck no. I came up from through different communities. Once again, it goes back now. We're 51 years old. God willing, I'll be 52 in February 27th. But I look back and say, oh, wow, he was always there. He's there. He's just there. All we got to do is pause, pivot, and pray. Hit the alt, control and delete button sometime in our life to get our spiritual connection reconnected back with the Creator. But sometimes it go through trials and tribulations. Um, but my trust in the Lord always been here. Like I can look back to my grandmother back in the day when they could just look at you at church. It's just, your doors just look at you. Grandma Jackson, my nana. Then you got Miss Mill over here, and she got the candy bag. So it was. I was in tune. A lot of people don't know this. I used to mimic because back I know on the East Coast we used to get these encyclopedias. They would come to the house and they had these encyclopedias and had these three steps before you go up to the upstairs step. And I would like mimic Martin Luther King, young enough age to where I knew his voice. I didn't know what he was talking about, but I wanted to be like him. Not saying that I wanted to be a pastor or preacher or anything like that, but at that time, God was really instilling me to be like, I'm gonna use you in a different way. I'm gonna show you different things. I'm gonna privy you to different stuff. And he also he challenges every day now. So people think when you become saved and you can't do this, you can't do that. I look at it a little bit different because I have to go and be where things is at that we're trying to change, right? So spiritual side is what we have to go. Like people may say, yeah, well, where was God at when this happened? You can't get it twisted. You still have free will, right? You still have free will. And even sometimes when we make a mistake, we can go to the sea of forgiveness. But we have to we can't question, because if you believe the size of a mustard seed, you won't even have a doubt of question in your mind. And even if God would just say, I'm going to physically speak to you and I'm going to physically give you an answer. We don't use enough of our brain to even comprehend what God can even tell us. So we have to look around us. We have to get our spirits, we go to the chiropractor, but sometimes we have to get alignment through God, through Jesus, to get our alignment right, which is going to tap into our spirit, which is going to help us on a daily basis.
Sir, sir,
Yes, ma'am.
you know you just said a mouthful, right?
I'm sorry.
Y- You know you just preached out your own word, sir.
All right, we
Mm-hmm.
just, this is sometimes we gotta get back to simplicity, we and stop worrying about what society believes in. Like everybody, imagine if everyone was themselves, who God created us to be. Every time we walk out the house or go somewhere where there's other people, we're gonna have a different dialogue, a different conversation with them, because like it's all touched by the creator, right? That we're gonna see that it'd be different. We let society dictate who we should be, but at the end of the day, society won't be there when every knee shall bow. So we gotta tap in with who
Let
that person's gonna be.
I don't think they're ready, sir. You I don't think they was ready. Again, you get a different side where it's not propaganda. This is freedom over here to say what thus said the Lord. Okay. And again, you are on a mission. You're in California. We say the big guard, but really it's the big guard up there.
Absolutely. But
The
my
one.
son, we're actually out here with my son, his company, Big Guard Mentality, skill over size. And it's all, yeah, it's the basketball, but it's all about how my son and his team explains the game, breaks the game down, because the game is really life. They say like what basketball is to us is what chess is to people. They say it's the game of life, right? So we out here on business doing that. Our Cox Production, my manager, Mrs. Rachel, Marcus, and we just, once again, it's just the creator using us, and I'm cool because I understand it. I totally understand it. So yeah, it's big guard, because a lot of people think when you hear the word big, or the heart is the biggest, the strongest, biggest muscle in your body, right? So, it's the mentality versus the big guard. Like everybody gonna think basketball. No, it's the mentality. the mentality. What's your mentality? And it also goes back to purpose. And then every day, like my dad, think about him. His birthday was yesterday. And I would be driving him somewhere. He'll always just be like, when we get to a destination, he'd be like, yo, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, right? Like I do it. I tell people I love them. I love them. Like I don't care who you is, I love you because we never know who who God sends us, right? And we never know who we're sent for. It's like I was listening to Dave Chappelle on one of his shows. Shout out to Dave. And he was saying, yeah, I was in a club one night and I was in someone else's dream. See, sometimes we have to be in someone else's dream. Sometimes we have to let that other person have this shine light, right? Don't be a gaslighter. We have to let that other person get their shine. And we have to you know, just pause some time because it might not be our time to shine, but it may be our time to be the one, right? Be the one. So that person God may put us in that person's life. So where they're at the pinnacle of where they want to show and share their testimony. And sometimes we got to be the co-signer, right? When it comes to the everyday thing, this temporary soil, I like to call it. Sometimes we got to physically, personally co-sign some things, right? But we don't need no co-signer. We already got the co-signer. The co-signer already was we got the blood from that to show that. We don't need no co-signer. We don't need no co-signer. So we just got to get our spiritual really, really intact. Like the things that I'm learning that people think means the most, it don't. It don't. It's so simple. Our life could be so simple. Yes, everything go through different things. I'm just a regular guy who trying to take the things that I've learned and share it with people. I share my negatives, right? I share my negatives that help me out, right? I had limits. I had limits to the things because I hear my grandmother in back of my mind. I hear my grandmothers, my mom, my dad saying, you just don't do that. Like I came from the era where they get to switch. You go pick your own out. So they was fair back in the day, but you need to be
Exactly.
fair. So it was tough love, right? So now when you start understanding the tough love, when my mother would tell me, I can't go to sleep until you home. I got kids now, it's the same way. But now that I understand that, I try to share with people yo, this is going to happen. That's going to happen. And I got to tell our youngins out there, the YGs or whatever you want to call yourself, you must really always respect our elders, respect people in general, because our elders could tell us about being young and old. We only got one side of this thing, so it's important that we get back to the simple things, to respect one another, want for the person like you want for yourself, and get back to simplicity. And it all starts with the man above.
I don't even know what to call you at the. Is it minister? What is it?
No,
Wally? What is
I'm
it?
just running. I'm just running the play. That's it. The creator said, "Yo, here, do this. This on your heart right here." And he just, that's really it.
So, what is something people will be surprised to know about you?
I like candles. Like I like candles. Uh, I like gardening. I like gardening.
And you can
That's
cook.
very yeah, yeah, a little bit. I'm more of an outside, the grill guy. But I believe I really getting really into gardening, not only coming from the South, but when you can actually see God work. Like you want to physically see his work and like see it in a couple of days, do it 24 hours, plant something. But he also going to show you something on that side. If you plant, you can't grow nothing in bad soil, right? So it's a process you got to do when you go plant some things, right? So we got to make sure we do that without everyday thing. And then I tell people, get two seeds. One, don't even you can have all good soil, but water one, don't water the other one. Do
Let's see
everything
what
opposite
happens.
than the other one, and then see what happens. And then you take that experience and add that into your everyday life. Because either we're watering our own produce or we're watering someone else's, or someone maybe have to water ours. It's not always about the physical produce, the physical side of it.
Absolutely. And that is the one thing of not only to seeing the hand of God of actually letting it grow, but it's also to be able to feed yourself outside of what is being fed to us. Because at one point, that can be considered poison, and then you're eating off the land
Mhm.
where it was supposed to be purpose anyway. So again, the wisdom that is coming from you, and I know there has been bumps and bruises in your life where you just didn't know. Because what happened? Let me ask this question: what happened when and one was done?
So I was always something. I think something open. I think I'm not sure. I think so. Um, I was always doing like my story is I never gave up. Like forget what anybody said I was supposed to do or not do. I never gave up. Whatever it was, I never gave up. I got something or involved with something. So it was kind of like maybe for like that first 5 or 4 years, I had to really find a way. Once again, you have to go back to because I understand now that the creator is using me in a way to now not only using me, but he's using me in a way where also being a what someone else could see. An example. Look, this right here is this what the street ball basketball community brings community together. It's positive in it, right? This is what so and by him doing it, he really went in depth. I went and got a job, right? I did an armored truck for 4 years. I was the one taking money in and outside of the banks and different stores and stuff like that. I did that for 4 years. So I went and worked, but I never stopped on what you got to pay the bills. I never stopped. I never stopped like trying to want for something. And what take me a little longer is that it's not about me. So when you just trying to do something for yourself, it could easily be done. But when the creator, I think, say, listen, this is what's going to be needed. You're dealing with the masses, so it's going to take a little bit longer. But look at who it's for. Look at who it's for. It's not just for somebody that signed a name on the bottom of your check. No, no, no. Look at who this hard work and sacrifice is for. Right? You working for the big reward now. So it helped me out. It wasn't that hard, because I always was doing games. Um, and it was always about the community. See, the community is always going to be there, so you can never fake on the community. Whether one have, don't have, whatever the situation it is, you can't fool them. You can't fool them. So I always carry myself with or without. No one would know, but because they get to like me, it's something about me they get to like, and I don't take advantage of that situation, because now I'm starting to know why are you here? Why is this? They say, oh, he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. You never hear people say he was at the right place at the right time. We always at the right place at the right time. It's just what we do with that space.
Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, what is it or a memory that you carry that you feel you were called to share with others? I remember on one of the interviews you had where you were talking about how the people stayed in the line for a very, very long time to see y'all and meet y'all. And you would purpose in your heart to make sure that whoever stayed in the line, you would definitely make sure you would sign their autographs or take pictures with them. So, what was something
Very
that
that
one of
that
those
story.
testimonies?
That story, very important. We would even get like they were trying to fine us for doing that because we would realize that everybody not gonna get their autograph signed. They out here standing here waiting. So we were what we would call walk the line. We would start with the last person and go walk the whole lines to make sure that we get everybody signed. Now, one of my memorable moments, people ask me, what was my memorable moments at Rucker Park starting at 15 years old? My memorable moment at Rucker Park doesn't even have anything to do with me, and I had so many memorable moments. But a guy named Keith Slob had a disability. And this is when I was with Bad Boy. Shout out to Mousie's Dream Team, my partner Mousie, who introduced me to Rucker Park. Keith Slob had a disability, and he would always be like, I'm a bad boy, I'm a bad boy. So Mousie put Keith Slob in the game, half man, half amazing, coming down the court. Passed the ball to Keith Slob. When I tell you Keith Slob pulled up and hit that jump shot, like for me, man, yo, that solidified Keith Slob being a bad boy. So that's definitely one of my most memorable moments coming out of EBC Rucker Park. And I played out there for 11 years. And this is all documented on a documentary called On Hollow Grounds. You can check that out
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube.
Um, let's see. I know not too long after um I met you, you had to have surgery,
Excuse me.
correct? Was it your
Yes.
back? Yes, back.
Yes. Hmm.
Um,
Yes.
in that moment, your faith at that moment was, I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna work stronger, not necessarily for the game of basketball, but for life. Those moments sometimes when we're so used to doing something all the time that when that thing is taken from us or we have a pause, as you say, the word pivot, sometimes we don't come back from that. So can you tell the people, even in that moment of having a serious journey back from having back surgery and where you are now?
Once again, you really find that trust into where a lot of people get into situations and they look for the blame, right? They blame, 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 blame. Like, oh, why did this happen? Oh man, people going to have different situations with their bodies, right? Health wise, or whatever it may be. My people who a lot of people don't know, I always suffer from sciatica. I never had feeling in my left calf, but I had over 45-inch vertical. So people don't know that. So after the games on the and one tape mixtape tour, my bunk would have a bunch of patches like those icy hot patches and stuff like that. Yeah, we keep naming these people. You're gonna have to pay a check. These sponsors, these people I'm naming. But so they would have these patches for me to be on my back. So I really went through a lot. Not went through. The creator took me through a lot. Right, took me through a lot. So I'm able to share the experience with people. Like this is what I went through. I went through 18 staples in my head. Did I know that the rim was going to
Oh
fall
yeah,
when I
with
dunked it
the
and get
rim hit
18
you.
staples? I didn't know that was going to happen, but it happened. When I shattered the backboard, half man, half amazing in myself. Like at that moment, you heat into the moment, right? And you're looking at the blood, and you're like, oh man, I'm a warrior out here. But a warrior for who? At the going through those phases, I'm worried for myself. Nah, I was worried for the man above. And now, like I said, through maturity, it just helped me so much. I don't mind talking about God. Like I don't care what nobody think or say. People who have their own myths or whatever they want. But I tell you what, if you didn't see the wind blowing, if you didn't see it blowing, the trees blowing, the wind blows, right? You believe in things that you can't see. No, no, no. We have to really, really tap in and believe in the things that we can't see, and that's God. And real quick, I'm sorry, back to the sea. Think about this. God's been telling us about the sea. He said, "Has a faith the size of a mustard seed," right?
Mm-hmm.
The produce have to have what? You see how
The
much
sea.
faith we have? Is that seed. So why wouldn't we want to use those traits and those steps that it takes for something to grow? It can't grow without the man above. It won't work. It just won't work. One year I put too many seeds next to each other. I thought I was gonna get a big produce, but I had different things I was planting. Guess what I got? Nothing. And I probably dropped about 100 seeds. Know what I learned from that? Sometimes you have to separate your seeds
Separate.
properly. You have to separate your friends. You have to separate your business partners. You have to separate so many things because if you have them too close together, it just ain't gonna grow in their space.
That part right there. And that's the hard part because we have these we have an idea what we think is going to work. Or we can put all our friends in this big old circle and we think they're going to all mash together. But it's not so until that one season when the seed comes up either too early, too late, or not at all, where you actually know, was this meant to be
Hmm.
or was it not? And
Hmm.
sometimes we are exit got out the whole equation and we just like, well, why this ain't working? Well, you exit out the person that knows the answer to your
Hmm.
questions.
Hmm. So
And
look at it
so
like this.
again,
Look at it like this. Have you ever seen a bag of popcorn? Man, we could go back. I'm gonna go back a little further with some of my OGs in here, right? Right. So the popcorn used to do on the stove with the little
in
handle,
the
right?
stove, yes.
So you got the stove. Well, you could get a popcorn maker. In that whole bag, you pop a whole bag of popcorn. You know that everyone don't pop. Now I can't tell you the reason why that, but if you take that and add it into your everyday life, everyone ain't gonna pop. But guess what? Guess what kernels we may be though. We may be the ones that don't pop because we are the 1%. But the things that we do have a 99 positive impact on society. So don't worry. So don't worry about being the one that pop. It's just not our time yet to pop. It's not our season yet. You planted this in the wrong season. You planted these seeds right here, Kentucky bluegrass down south. The humidity, the texture of the grass, it won't grow. So it wasn't time for that for your kernel to pop. But it's gonna pop.
It's gonna pop. And when it does, it's not even about the where and how and all of this stuff. It's not even for you. It's for the people around you. It's for, as we say right now, it's the testimony. It's the honest, the transparency that no, I didn't always get it right. No, it ain't always been easy, but I kept going. I kept going. That is the whole point. You should be better today than you were yesterday, a whole hour ago. You should never be the same. You should always be evolving, getting better. No, I can't do this on my own. I had to this year. Nope, I'm gonna say 47, and I look good for 47. So
Amen.
at that point, I had to realize you got to do some things different. Because if you keep doing the same thing thinking it's gonna change, that is what my auntie say. That's insanity. That's
Mhm.
crazy. No,
Absolutely.
you got to actually take the initiative to do some things different. Sit down and look in the mirror. What people don't realize, it was a long time before I even had mirrors in my house. I
Mm.
didn't like what I saw. If you want to look spiritual or if you wanted to look physical, it didn't matter. I didn't like looking until it was brought to my
The
attention. How
spiritual have no look though. The spiritual really have no look. So you wasn't you was that was a personal thing. But the mirrors,
absolutely
if you would have kept those mirrors and saw those mirrors, you would know, like, hold up, all right. And then you start seeing the process. You start seeing the work, that the creator blessed on your heart. You start seeing it. So you got to keep a mirror. You have to. What do the first thing we do? We go out, go look in the mirror. We look at the mirror because we want to see how we look, right? That's when we look in the mirror. So why not go to that? Use that part of your everyday thing. When you feel a certain way, I'm loved. I look good. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You don't need no justification from no one else. You gotta remember, everybody don't got we with the playmaker. Like, you know what I'm saying? We just gotta make the play. We with the playmaker. And this is not like holier than thou or anything like that. Everybody gonna have put like this. My good overweighs my bad, right? It overweighs my bad. But through my trials, whatever tribulations, I go think back to the kids over in Serbia when I was out there, third world countries, and I think about them. So I don't really have too many problems. I don't try to fix things. I'm just not a controller. But that came with maturity, and it also came with just having self control. You got to have control and patience, right? Without that, being a young kid and running around and stuff like that, you don't understand this stuff. And some people don't even get an opportunity to see this,
get it right. Yep.
to share their testimony because we was tricked, right? If I say to you, we're gonna be a statistic. The only time that we hear that word being used, if it's not really a math thing, as far as one's life, it's normally on the negative side of the statistic.
Negative side.
Once again, I'm gonna say I don't mind. We don't mind being the 1% because the things we do have a 99 positive effect on society. So we don't mind. We're the 1%.
I love it. No, I did that one already. What or how has God surprised you lately?
And he surprises me every day when I get up and say thank you. So lately, we've just been doing endeavors, being able to do business with my sons, my manager, Art Cox Production, Mrs. Rachel. We got the podcast center. Everything that we try to do is definitely going to always incorporate the community and others, and also just, show people we're all great. We're all kings. We're all queens. We're all celebrities. See, we get caught up into one's maybe income or one's property value or different things like that, but the enriches is within us. And once we can understand that we're rich with inside, now we just use the things that we went through, the testimonies that we share, because you know, unfortunately, a lot of people can't or they don't, or to go to the doctor. But having different conversations with one another, with people who you trust, confiding, you could learn just listening. I know for us males, just listening, you know, you can learn different things because you might say, "Oh man, bro was going through that too. Bro got A1 health insurance, so I know bro going to the doctor." So sometimes we just gotta listen and do as much as we can, and also be willing to share our experiences going to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? Because things is different, and with the what you call it, the civil Western medicine and all that stuff. Yeah, our doctors tell us that, they tell us that. But there's things in between that we can do far as how they're feeding us all this processed food and all this stuff like that. Every time you go to the doctor, they got something new they want you to try, or even if you don't need it, they got something that you see other customers and other patients they want to try, right? So we got to really take that time in between our yearly visits and stuff like that. We got to take our time out and see what are we putting into our bodies.
That's true.
Me? Oh, that's great. Say okay. I thought you froze up on me.
No, I was, a supping. Sorry. Let's see. So what encouragement would you offer to someone who's struggling in their faith right now?
I would say just find out. Go back. Let's go back to when you first learned it. Let's go back to the definition of these words, right? Let's re jog our mind and see what this stuff means. Not saying that they don't know, but sometimes when you can really read these things and wherever you at, whether you're younger, you're older, you're going through different things, start understanding what some of these things mean, right? And then see where it fits, see how it fits you, see who you're around. People, places, and things. People, places, and things can dictate one's outcome, right? What's your problem? The first thing is really recognizing that you have that faith issue, you have that trust issue, whatever it may be, right? You got to really recognize it. That's the first thing. And then you just figure out. Miss Johnson might pray all the time, walk around with a Bible, right? But Mr. Jackson over here, he different. But it's you able to see it, but his faith level is different. He understands, he sees it. He could tell you certain things, or because we just take what we can from individuals, not their whole success, whatever their story is. You can learn something from anybody. I don't care where they at in their life. And by saying that, it doesn't matter where one is at in their life. They can change someone else's life that can also change their life. So you never give up. Because if you have faith, you're never going to have the thought of giving up. It's just that's just not even in your mind. Now, seeking it. Sometimes we have to go through things to seek it, but we also have to find out what is it that we're seeking. Who's when you go on an airplane and you look down, you see how perfectly the ground is real perfect blocks. I know that the creator has something at some point to do with that because man can't make perfect shapes like that. Or one man, they cannot do it, right? So we have to think the same way, whatever it is that you're seeking. What do? Your kid want those Jordans? You go stand online, right? We don't go to the PTA and the parent meetings and stuff like that. You want to go on that vacation? What we do? We save up, right? We got to seek faith the same way. We got to seek the man above the same way. It's all about the energy that you put out, right? So we got to do the same thing. We have everything. We have it. It's just what are we spending our time on? Is you want temporary? You want to keep up with the Joneses? Or like, how do you want to do it? And he give us the free will to do all of those things. You can do all of those things. But you can't never forget where that comes from if you believe. And if you don't know where it's at or you can't find it, find it. Seek that. Seek that. Seek that. Talk to someone. And once again, their story not going to be your story. It's what you can get from that. Because guess what? When I learn something, I'm also teaching somebody something. So we all so valuable. We all MVPs. You don't need a trophy. You don't need a fancy title. You know what I'm saying? Just think outside the box and understand one's purpose. We don't chase our purpose. We don't think we have purpose if it's something that we don't do or people can hear us, right? We think we just know one. We just walking through this life. Nah, you never know who needs your ear, who ear we may need. So we all are valuable. We all are running plays from the creator. We just gotta know when and how. That's when he gonna let us be human beings. Like we gonna have fun. We gonna have down times, right? But it's not everything we go through. Just not just because we going through it. We're going through it for, hey yo, don't go that way, sunshine, because when you make that left, the cops down there, right?
Mm.
No, but some people gonna say, oh man, I went that way. This happened to me. No, 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 no. We can't do that because in God's eyes, He gonna say, if you know something, you holding things back, that's considered being selfish.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You are definitely you knocking it out the park, sir. You are knocking it out the park. You hear me? Yes, you
Yeah,
are.
we just having a
Mm-hmm.
conversation.
That's what we saying. Not yeah, you was definitely knocking it out the park. Um, let's see. What do you sense God is teaching you right now?
The reward, the reward. So now I'm on a side now where you could look back and say, "Oh man, maybe we could try it this way, right? This road right here. He went down that road, showing love, being passionate, um, keeping it 100. And sometimes we have to share, like we have to share the things that don't glorify us, that don't make us feel good. We never there. We never know why we're there. So he's just showing me every day, every time. And I think what the real mission, what's being accomplished is that I'm able to have these stories. I'm able to have this dialogue with you. I don't know who's watching or who need to hear this or what have you, but I'm not afraid. And I'm just not afraid. I know where my strength comes from. Any weakness that I have is maybe a weakness maybe I just don't have, but is a weakness. Our weakness sometimes could be ourselves. We could be our own weight, so we gotta just shake it off, get full of some, you know, some spiritual lobster tails, you know what I mean, and some Cornish hen songs, and then throw some of them old school hymns in there. That's a full feast.
Come on, devil.
You good?
Uh-oh.
What
Are
happened?
you wait.
I'm here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Uh-oh. Okay. Uh-oh. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I always can hear you.
Yeah, it's like it's trying to buffer, but
Can you hear
we
me?
we gonna we can get it together. We gonna get it together.
The devil got to do his job.
Yeah, we definitely messing him up right now. Let's see. Let's see. Wow. Um, so what is the next project? I mean, what you doing, sir? What's going on? Tell the people what you got going on.
Really just doing just these shows we're doing and some community stuff. Like I say right now, a lot of the focus on the big guard mentality. We're doing some about to try to get into a little acting stuff. Just staying relevant, staying in the community. I always like it's so much, but I was like, I don't even know. It's like I'm at the point now where sometimes I want to surprise people.
Absolutely. And you
Surprise
should.
people and see what's going on.
So before I let you go, and I know people are loving the conversation again, they get to see you in a different light than just being on a basketball court or being a CEO and all those wonderful things. Again, I know because again, this has been a 6 year journey with us. Even though I've never met you in person, I feel like I know you. Um, and we're gonna get to meet one each other one of these
Yes,
days. You've been promising me
yes,
it for 6 years now.
yes, 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 yes.
Now you're on record
What
now.
they say? Oh, I'm on record. I know what to say on record too. Charge my mind, not my heart.
That's not how
Hmm.
that's supposed to work. No, sir.
Hmm.
No,
Hmm.
sir. No, sir. Uh-uh. Um, you're funny. Um, so what is a song that will get you through every time and you gotta sing it or rap it? Something.
Oh no, I'm not really good with that. I listen to I like the old school hymns. Um, like I like old school hymns. I like a good song I like the Wooden Church, the old Wooden Church. Like you gotta type that. It's real old school. But any like gospel, I have to have substance. I have to have some kind of substance. I listen to all kind of music, but when I want to get through that day, I listen to a guy called the Governor. blood, sweat, and tears.
Hmm.
Um, but music, you gotta remember, music is our soundtrack to our life, and we all have similar stories with different music behind it. So music is going to really, really play a part in the changes of the world, as far as from a human being aspect. So our artists out there, whatever kind of music you're putting out there, remember y'all are like we need y'all. And if it's a negative narrative or if negative things is happening, we gotta need y'all to change those lyrics because it's gonna be so powerful. So your voice is powerful. So I advise y'all, encourage y'all, if y'all doing anything or if anybody get harmed from your music, not what's up.
So it's my turn since you didn't want to sing.
I don't
um,
know what to say.
you don't. Are you sure? I bet you know how to. You just don't want to.
Nah, 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 nah. I don't know. See, I could try, but I don't. First of all, I don't really, the rim fell on my head, so I'll be having a problem remembering the words and all that. I could hum and do a karaoke maybe, but look, I didn't lie, but I bent the truth.
What was that you just did, sir?
I didn't lie, but I bent the truth.
Bent the truth still means you lied.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Uh, Okay. Sure, sir. That was amazing in your karaoke singing that you can't sing. Praise the Lord.
Oh, yes, yes.
Um so today while I was at work there was a lot of and with the government shut down for a hot moment. Um and it was the moment of I'm looking at my friends having to leave work because tomorrow is uncertain.
Mhm.
And that's not just government workers, that's period. You could leave your house right now and there is a high amount of uncertainty that you will make it back because God didn't promise you that. And that moment was, I have a conversation that I'm having with main event Wailyy Dixon tonight. And I'm on the freeway and I see the police on the left hand side of the freeway and there was a car accident and I know for sure that that person didn't say today I'm going to get into a car accident.
Mm.
I'm not going to make it home today on purpose. So tonight, even in this moment, I want y'all to take a moment and reflect and really understand what the presence of God really means. I'm trying not to cry. It's we take so much for granted that our next breath, our next word is promised, and it's not. Um, this was definitely a conversation that needed to be had, but it's also the conversation that we understand our place with God. And that's all I want to leave y'all with in this conversation of where are you with our Father? I don't want you to go to bed thinking that you are on one way and he's like, I don't have nothing to do with you. The sad thing would be to go to bed tonight and you wake up in hell tomorrow.
Mhm.
This year, he changed it to a whole different narrative. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about these moments that you understand your reality and your honesty with God. Because at any moment, especially with how the world is, it could blow up at any moment. And we're not saying that. But I want you to really realize where we are. So the song that came in mind, now y'all gotta excuse my
Sorry.
what in
Oh,
the
I'm listening. I'm sorry.
oh the vocals might be a little bit off because I was singing her yesterday, but it was the moment of um I need thee, oh I need thee every hour. I need thee. Oh, bless me now, my Savior. I come to, Lord, I come to thee. You ever felt like that? I
Amen.
need thee, oh, I need thee every hour. Lord, I need thee. Oh, bless me now, my Savior. I come, Lord, I come. Oh, I come to thee. I better stop before I send myself. And ain't nobody coming over here to come get me.
No, that's perfect. That's all time. Amen. Doors of the church is open.
What?
Do we got one? Do we got two? That's a blessing. And then also, I want to say this real quick. So with the government stuff, I mean, you mentioned that there was a shutdown. So that directly affects me. And the reason why it affects me is that I'm on the housing corporation, to where I'm fighting for the seniors, to make sure the senior citizens that's in senior buildings, making sure that they're being treated right, taken care of. And I was informed yesterday we have weekly meetings. I was informed in that email that there was a government shutdown. Unfortunately, we can't have our meeting because I'm on the government side. Forget, people don't know, the ones who's able to push that button and those who are allowing that button to be pushed, they may not have no one, or they may not know how that can affect them. So that's how it personally affects me, where I'm not able to be the voice for the seniors who I vow and took an oath to be the voice for them. So everybody's going to be affected in different ways, but just trust and believe. This is the time for us to really see who we have to depend on, and hopefully is us. When I say us, the U.S., us, your neighbor. People don't even know their neighbors now. So we're going to have to go through certain things, and going through those certain things is what we want to be able to really see and really appreciate what that blessing is. We'll be able to appreciate what we learned during that time. That decimal, we all going to have one. That decimal is really our story. That's our story. What will our soundtrack be? And who will be the producer of the music of that soundtrack? I love y'all. Thank y'all. And God bless y'all.
Well, again, you guys, I thank Wailyy Dixon, my friend, my big brother, for being here tonight. Again, I love spending time with you. Is every day is, as we say, it gets sweeter and sweeter. Every year it gets sweeter and sweeter. Eventually, hopefully this year we get to meet in person, get some things done. Come sit at your podcast center and actually do some things from there. So again, thank you again.
Thank you.
Next week I will not be here next Tuesday because I am moving.
Congrats, congrats, congrats.
So I will not be here, but I will get back into it that following week
Excuse me.
after that. Um, so again, I thank you again for sharing. I thank you
Thank
guys
you.
for being here. Please share the podcast. Again, I believe in 6 degrees of separation. You're literally one person away, one advice away, one help away from where you need to be in your destiny, proven over and over again since I started this show in 2020. Again, the last thing I knew before I left work tonight, it should be back tomorrow. If they have finally made a decision with the government, we should be back to norm tomorrow, but who knows? However, we will always continue to pray for our world, not just the United States, but our world in general. from the White House all the way down to your local, to your neighbor, to the house that you stay in, and to the house that you house. Again, I love y'all, and I will see you soon. And again, love you. Be sweet.
Love you,
Peace.
sis. Blessings. God bless you all.